Welcome to the Beyond Jiu Jitsu podcast, episode number 40.
Q&A time.
Q&A number 4. Ask a black belt number 4, the 4th rendition. We are back, baby.
What's up, bro?
Nothing.
Well, we need some sound bites. That little tweet.
Yeah, we
tweet.
need one that goes da 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 da. I'm gonna make that happen.
Man, I actually said that the other day in the gym. It was like, it's from this show called Superstore. There's a character who does it. It's like white gangster rapper dude. He's always like, whoa,
So
whoa,
like
whoa. Yeah, like me. Mic drop. I did it the other day in the gym, and someone was actually like, I love that show. And he actually like knew exactly. And it's not like it's not like the Big Bang Theory where it's like, oh, everyone knows about that show or Seinfeld or something. You know, it's
you were in the Big Bang Theory.
I was in the Big Bang Theory. Yeah. I know. What the hell am I doing this podcast?
You love it. That's why, because you love jiu-jitsu.
I do. It's my
All right.
life.
Let's get straight into these questions. We have a decent whack of questions for today's show.
Let's see what we got time for.
Yeah, we curated a list of the top 4 questions that we have received. And let's start with a question from Nicholas P. Nicholas is a white belt, and he asks that you hear a lot about people saying belts don't matter, but is it wrong to want a promotion? Nicholas said that in his gym, blue belts have access to advanced classes, so it's more than just a belt to him. And I'm paraphrasing here, but to Nicholas, it seems more that getting his blue belt will unlock his ability to improve faster, and it will improve his jiu-jitsu. So it's, belts don't matter. Yeah, humble your ego and that sort of thing, but, it's more than just a belt. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I can't really argue with Nicholas. I mean, every gym's going to be a little bit different. If we're just looking at it from a logistical point of view, like you wanting to have access to different classes and stuff, then okay, it is more than a belt. Like it's allowing you to do these extra classes that you want to do. But there's also usually a reason for that, right? Now, man, sometimes, unfortunately, Kieren, you and I spend a lot of time together.
Unfortunately.
So sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I said this in a previous episode or was it just a conversation we were having or
say
whatever.
It again. People need to hear it.
But, like a lot of the time these, you can't roll until you're a 2-stripe, or you can't do this class until you're this belt or whatever. And those rules are put in place for a couple of reasons. One, it's just like a safety thing. So, for example, in our gym, I don't let white belts do any leg locks other than straight foot locks, which are allowed at white belt, But then once you're a blue belt and up, I don't mind you, because I teach you in a safe way, I don't mind you starting to practice catch and release heel hooks and knee bars and things like that. Because the last thing I want is for my students to get a brown belt and be like, cool, I'm allowed to do knee bars. So what's a knee bar? I want them to get to brown belt and be proficient in them already. So you can learn them and practice them in the gym. You just have to understand the rules of the competition you're going to do.
So can a white belt can't do a knee bar. So can a white belt be knee barred?
No. It goes both ways. That doesn't mean you can be like a
I'd like
blue
to draw
belt.
your attention to Ollie.
That doesn't mean you can be
Only
one of
can
those
get on
higher belts and be doing them against white belts. No. But that's just a safety thing, because look, man, there's no buts, ifs, ums about it. Leg locks as an example, are more dangerous and they have less wiggle room. And man, white belts can hurt themselves doing a bloody hip escape. Last thing when new people come in and you sometimes pair them with a black belt and they're like, oh, I don't want to go with the black belt. It's like, dude, that's like the best person you can go with. That's the person who has the most control of their own body and can control your body and is is humble and whatever and will make sure you stay safe. If I put you with another white belt, you're going to hurt yourself or they might hurt you, So it's just a safety thing.
Yeah, because the skill gap is so close that they need to, a senior white belt, a more experienced white belt, they're not going to lose to a junior white belt, right? They're not going to want that to happen. But the skill gap isn't enough for them to do it in a safe way.
And it's also, it's just a lack of knowledge.
Mm.
You could be the most gentle, calm, 30 kilo like person, and you wouldn't hurt a fly. But there's just things you don't know. Like you just find yourself putting your body in a position that you don't know the mechanics of that position, and you can severely hurt your partner. Or, maybe you're super skilled, but it's just not safe, right? Let's imagine this. Like, let's imagine you're an incredibly good surfer, but you've only ever surfed in those wave-generated pools that exist nowadays. And so you're a competent surfer. You're not a professional surfer, but you're a competent surfer. But then you go to a beach break and nothing about actually paddling out, nothing about currents, about rips, and these things that are super dangerous.
Like being dumped
and then you just get thrown in there, right? Like it's just not safe. So that's why the rules are in place. And other times the rules are in place just because gyms grow. And my gym at the moment, I teach, there's only 2 adult classes a week that I don't teach, right?
Monday and Friday, no-gi.
Lunch class, right? And even then, the only reason I don't teach them is because my son isn't at daycare on those days, right? Otherwise, I would teach them. So I teach 99.9% of the adult classes in the gym. So I'm there hands-on with my students every day. I know everyone. But obviously as gyms grow, like my coach's gym, Fabio's gym, has over 500 students. He has like 12 different instructors. There's people who are members of his gym that he has never even seen them face-to-face because they don't come at the times that he's there or whatever, right? So obviously as a team, a gym, as a business grows and you start being less personal, not because of you don't want to be personal, but it's just the growth, right? It's just how it goes. You kind of need to put rules and lines in place. So I get wanting to be in that, get that blue belt to be in that class, but that's going to be at the discretion of your instructor, right? You may not be ready. And if I say this to everyone, if you don't like your instructor's standards, you're free to train somewhere else. I say to my students, look, if you're not happy, someone said to me this morning, actually, like, there's a black belt who came over and started training with me. He said, since I've been here, I've noticed that, he was saying to someone else, but he was saying in a way so I could overhear. He's like, since I've been here, I noticed that your coach likes to sandbag everyone. And, for those who don't know, sandbagging is like holding back students. And I turned to him and I was like, nah, bro, it's called standards, And so I say to people, if you don't like my standards, I'll give the university analogy again. If you don't want to get your degree from my university, go to fucking Sunday school, go to TAFE, bro, go to some dog shit online course and get
Carl was talking about me, wasn't he?
Yeah. And get it there, Yep. They're my standards. So, that's going to be up to your coach. And it may be that you're just not ready for it. What if, man, like anything in life, if you get put too far in the deep end, it's too hard. When I first moved to Brazil and I did like a Portuguese test for them to place me, because I did this like 3-month intensive Portuguese class thing.
Nice.
to try to get my Portuguese up to speed. And they did a little test to place you in which skill level you are. And I did well in the test and they placed me in whatever it was, intermediate or something. But I'd kind of like, I don't know, I guess just the questions they asked, I knew the answers to. But I remember I did that first class and I was like, nah, man, like you got to put me back in beginner. Like this is way too much.
You tested really well.
Yeah. But then I straight away was like, I can't understand anything. Like I'm getting nothing out of this.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of the same. Like if you're not ready and you get put in it, if we ignore the safety concerns, like you're just not going to get anything out of it.
Yeah.
Like if then they start teaching, I don't know, whatever, like more complicated stuff. And, you then can kind of also hold back the rest of the class because you can't, there's a 3-step technique and like you're stuck at step 1. Like it's just, so I get it, it is more than a belt, but by the sounds of Nicholas's question, it's like he's wanting access to those more advanced classes. And my advice, bro, is unfortunately you're at the discretion of your instructor. And if you don't like his standards, you can go somewhere else.
Get your blue belt and come back.
Yeah. Go somewhere else, get your blue belt, then go back. But
Which reminds me, I'm going to take a bit of a sabbatical. I'm moving to Queensland.
Yeah, there's not much you can do about it.
Go on to Gracie Baja for a few months. I'll be back soon.
Pay your blue belt test fee and off you go. Yeah, there's not a lot you can do about it, Nicholas. It's up to your instructor.
To just bury like a little bit deeper into one part of his question, then we'll move on. He asked, is it wrong to want a promotion? He's been hearing like, everyone's saying, don't stress about your blue belt. Don't worry about your blue belt. Like it will come, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's wrong to want it.
I'll tell you what my experience was. And I come from a coach who's notoriously difficult to get belts from. And I remember I didn't get my blue belt from Fabio. I got my blue belt from a guy called Shane Rice, who's a Hicks and Gracie black belt. This was when I lived in Canada. And it was like, I kind of got my blue belt from him as my parting gift. I was already like set and moving to Brazil to train full time. And he gave me my blue belt like a week before I left or something. So I was already a blue belt. And, I remember when I was a white belt, I wanted my blue belt. I was like, I just don't want to be a white belt. Like, a white belt is, a person who's done one jiu-jitsu class is a white belt. I just want to be a blue belt. So I'm not white anymore. And then when I got my blue belt, I was like, I just want my purple belt, because then like when I'm a purple belt, I'm not just that, but you're just that one after white, there's like, that whole, there's more blue belts, in the world than white belts, because people get their blue belts and quit or whatever the meme is. I was like, I just want my purple belt. So then you're like, yeah, man, like you
stuck around long enough. You're respected now.
And then when I got my purple belt, I was like, oh man, I just want my brown belt, because like brown belt, you're pretty much a black belt. I just want my brown belt.
Yeah.
And then when I got my brown belt, I was like, oh man, like, but now I'm just like one more, I just want my black belt. And every single time I got a belt, and I think the like blue to purple was like a lot of people, was the hardest slog, where every single time there was potentially a grading or potential to get a belt, everyone in my gym. And I trained with the competitor team and I competed with the competitor team. Everyone was like, man, there's no way Fabio won't give you your purple. And then I wouldn't get it. And then they'll be like, oh, but you'll get it next time for sure. And then next time they'll be like, man, you didn't get it last time. You'll get it this time. And I wouldn't get it. Like, so it went on for a while. And even then when I got my purple, even though I knew like I was at the level required for it, and I definitely was meeting Fabio's standards and everyone in the gym standards, even when I got it, I was like, oh, but do I really deserve it? And I had that same feeling with every belt. I got my brown belt. I was like, yeah, finally. Oh, but I'm like, I don't know if if I'm a brown belt. Like, then got self-conscious. And even the same when I got my black belt, every belt, that little bit of like, oh, but am I, because I didn't come from I won worlds at blue belt. Oh, I won worlds at purple belt. Yeah. Unfortunately, I would love to sit here and say that I did, but I didn't. I did well in competition, but it wasn't like, well, man, I won worlds, so like
you are the best
I'm the best blue belt, or like I won the Grand Slam, like I won Euros, Pans, Worlds, ADCC trial. Like, okay, yeah, man, like I'm the next belt. I didn't have that, and so I still had that little bit of doubt. But I don't think it's wrong to want a belt. Like, is it wrong to want to achieve your goal? And like, they're incremental goals, right? Like, you can't sit here and say, oh, I want to get a black belt one day, but then not also like want your blue belt. What's on the way, bro?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And from my perspective, I'm really looking forward to not having to worry about belts for a little while,
because it's almost like when you get your blue belt, that you're like, okay, I'm here for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need to worry about it.
I want to sit look, I am expecting to be a blue belt for, 3 years or something like that. So if I get promoted, I'm trying to be careful here. Like, if I get promoted, when I get promoted, maybe one day, right? I'm just excited.
Kieren's sliding a $20 bill across the table.
Oh, shit. Like, I'm just super keen to just not have to think about belts for a bit, just enjoy doing jiu-jitsu. Like, I love jiu-jitsu, and you know that. And I cherish every second.
But even when you're not someone who cares about belts, like, I mean, I'm sure there's some people in the world that legitimately to the depths of their soul don't care. But even people
not
who,
one of them.
but even people who don't care,
Yeah.
like it's still there.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
100%, 100%, 100%.
you know, oh, I don't care about accolades and titles,
Yeah.
but like doesn't mean you don't like getting one.
Exactly.
You know?
I think to a certain extent, everyone cares a bit, but obviously to varying degrees. To some people, it's everything. To me, it's certainly not. It's like well down the list.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather, be better at jiu-jitsu. If I could choose, do you want to be better at jiu-jitsu or do you want a blue belt? I'm fucking better at jiu-jitsu. Like it's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
It's not even a fucking
But
conversation.
it's not for some people, right? Like some people just
care about
some
the belt.
people will
Just want it.
find at the gym that is the easiest because they just want the
It's a
title,
status. They just want a status symbol. But like, fuck, man, I want to earn that shit. But at the same time, like, I'm so keen to once I get the belt to just sit with it for a bit, just for like 2 years or like 18 months or whatever time frame, at least 12 months. Jesus, just not think about the next belt. Just fucking enjoy.
Well, at least like I
progression.
mean, I more or less still currently follow the guidelines of the IBJJF for the belt system. So
it's minimum
I
2
wouldn't.
years.
I don't even want to say rules. For me, I follow the IBJJF guidelines.
Yeah.
And so blue belt's minimum of 2 years. So you can you get your blue belt, you kind of know like, well, man, it doesn't matter if I train 4 times a day, every day, 7 days a week. I'm here for 2 years. So you can kind of it's kind of like getting your here in Australia, like when you go through your license, you know, you get your learner's permit, then your Ps or your P2s, we call it your green Ps.
Yeah.
They're like a provisional license and you're on it for 2 years, no matter what. You're like,
okay,
okay,
you
don't
could be
have
a
to think
fucking
about
race
it.
car driver. You could be the best driver in the world.
You're still going
to
for
be
2 years.
so you don't have to stress. You can enjoy your time. So that, like to Nicholas's point, like particularly when you start getting into being like a more experienced white belt and you are looking at that blue, you know, you've been at white belt for a bit, you feel like, you know, you're there. It's always like just over the horizon sort of thing. But once
and then,
you
like
get
I
there,
said, Nick, man,
you just chill.
If you're happy with your coach and his standards and everything, like, man, then you just got to trust him.
Yeah.
And like I said, I trust Fabio more than any other coach, and I still doubted myself and I doubted his decision when he gave me my belts. You know, so just keep at it, bro. You'll get in those advanced classes soon enough.
100%. So that was a bit longer than we had planned, but hopefully you got something out of that, Nicholas, and hopefully everyone else that's listening got something out of that. But next question is from Anthony. Anthony is a blue belt, and he asks, what's your vision for the gym? Are you interested in creating any affiliates? What's the strategy? What's the plan as a gym owner?
So my goal for the gym is, first of all, is the current gym location has always been my goal. Like that's the stepping stone gym for any of my students listening or anyone who's visited the gym. They would be well aware that it's not this like massive mat space and like beautiful bathroom. Like it's not this decked out gym, right? It's a small gym and it's fine, especially in the part of Sydney we are. Commercial real estate is savage. So it's like a weird shape and everything, but it's a really great gym as a first gym to start building your business or your brand or whatever. So my goal is either...
Yeah, I'm curious how much you're going to reveal.
Yeah, I know. My goal is...
Because I know.
Yeah, Kieren knows. I would like to either one or two options. I would either want to open a second gym and keep that existing gym, you know, and open a big facility. Like a lot of it depends on like real estate and where you are. Like it's very easy to sit here and say, I want to open a gym in this suburb. But like, man, different suburbs cost different amounts and, you know, or have different premises available. So I would like to either open a second location or relocate the existing location, you know, into a bigger, better facility. But, you know, that's something that's in my mind, and I constantly keep my ear to the ground on the commercial real estate, availabilities.
Market.
Market. Sorry. Thank you. But it's, you know, COVID has made all that stuff really tricky.
Yeah.
But that's sort of, I mean, that's just a very general sort of overview of what I would want to do with the brick and mortar. But something bigger, what I want is I want the gym and the team to be one of, if not the best gym/team in Sydney. And then, you know, I mean, ideally Australia, but I want to be, I think the perfect example would would be to say I want to be the absolute MMA of Sydney. It's quite well known that currently in 2021, absolute MMA in Melbourne, where Lachlan Giles, where Craig Jones is from, Jeremy Paul Skinner are from, like it's known as kind of the best gym, competition gym, no-gi gym in Australia. But I want to be, but they're in Melbourne. And for those who don't know, is a good, 1,000 kilometers away, from Sydney.
Change, yeah.
So I want to be that in Sydney. I want to have the big, best team in Sydney. I also want to, but I don't want to compromise the environment that I create. One of the biggest compliments that I get as a gym owner is the people that come through just go, man, like, the quality of the jiu-jitsu is really good, but also just like the atmosphere of the gym and the vibe. And so it's just like all the people that train here are, and that's something real special. And I think it also now being a dad also changes the way I think. I want to have an environment for Atlas, my son, to start training jiu-jitsu at and spend lots of time at. In terms of affiliates, I don't know, man. I don't really. I'm a bit torn with the whole. Yeah, I don't really want to answer that question right now. Just it's something I'd be happy to sit down and talk face to face with someone about. But I have a lot of conflicting opinions about that.
The business model of affiliates.
Yeah, like, the business model, the cultural model of it, just everything, the way it all ties in with jiu-jitsu as a community, as a sport, as a business, as a social media, like, it's I'm going to leave the affiliate one. Like, would I love to have a bunch of gyms in Sydney that I have some type of connection to? Yeah, 100%. I definitely want to provide the tools for my students to go off and open their own gyms, I guess is what I would say. Cool. I would love to have black belts of mine go and open other gyms, and whether they open a gym as an affiliate or under their own name or start a new team, I don't care. But I would just love to have students of mine opening gyms. That would be awesome.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, so next question comes from Ellie. Ellie is a 14-year-old white/yellow belt, and he wants to have a bit of an insight into what it takes to run a gym. So he's sort of alluding to like what goes on behind the scenes, cleaning the mats, dealing with customers, the scheduling. And so can you just give us a quick rundown on what you do that isn't directly teaching jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, so anyone who's thinking about opening a gym, or perhaps Ellie's asking this because he likes the idea of pursuing jiu-jitsu and running a gym one day.
Or maybe he just wants to come clean the mats.
Yeah. It's going to depend, right? If you're already a big gym, chances are you have a receptionist and you have a person who does this and that. But what goes on behind the scenes when you're not just kicking back and only teaching, especially if you're a small business and you're new and you haven't been open for very long, you probably don't have any staff and you do everything. Man, there's heaps. There's like, it's not even about what's involved in running a gym. It's what's involved in running a business, right? And there's so much. Like people I still have students who think that in between teaching, I just do nothing. It's like, man, like who do you think does? Yeah, okay. The obvious one is clean the mats, but who do you think goes? I don't know. Like even things that you don't necessarily think about, like. Man, whose job do you think it is when the soap dispenser runs out of soap? Like, I'm the one who's got to fill that. Or what if there's no soap to fill it with? Well, I'm the one that goes and buys it. Like, it's a small business.
Who stocks the fridge? Who does the accounting? Who double checks your books? Who updates your software? Who chases up
who responds
clients?
To inquiry emails?
Who answers the phone when someone calls your number online? Who responds to Google reviews? Who fucking the list goes on, man.
Who, when your public
liability insurance,
public liability insurance is up for renewal.
Yep.
Who renews
Negotiates
that?
that
Who tracks all the well, obviously part of being an instructor is tracking your students' progress, but then like, I don't have a receptionist that I tell, man, you got to order these belts because I'm going to promote these people, like,
uniforms,
or ordering stock in because people want to buy gis and
double
whatever.
checking the books.
So
man, I can
even
I feel you.
even just generic cleaning, you know, like people sometimes
clean the bathroom.
The front of our gym has big glass windows, and the kids are just like smudged with kids' fingerprints, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes people are like, man, these windows are gross. And I'll be like, I cleaned them like 2 days ago, you know? And like all
that
those little things,
it takes a lot.
Things that you don't expect. I turned up to the gym last week, Saturday morning, and someone had smashed the front window of the gym.
Yeah.
You know, there was no cameras or anything, but by the look of it, it was some drunk person who decided to smash my window.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I got to do that.
We coming for you, son.
Clean up that and like call a glass repair person and all these little things, or paying the rent. Who pays all the bills? I do all that. Like,
and this is when things are going perfectly. Right?
Exactly right. When things
you throw in I throw you a curveball like the
window. A pandemic
or the pandemic or anything else, right? And then all of a sudden your workload triples. And then that's not to mention like social media, filming some stuff and like not even mentioning, like back to Anthony's question, expansion, or like mentioning like some other things that we've got going on behind the scenes that maybe will be revealed
one day
soon, maybe.
Keep your eye out for a hot Jiu Jitsu 2022 calendar.
Ooh.
Bags Christmas.
It's just me.
But yeah, exactly like you said, that's when things are going perfectly, right?
Yeah.
And that's often not the case. One of my friends who runs the Alliance Vancouver, East Van, is in East Vancouver in Canada. I remember him explaining it like, man, running a business is kind of like constantly putting out lots of little fires.
Exactly.
You know,
totally agree.
It's a lot of, and it's hard, man, because I mean, I didn't study business. I don't have a business degree or anything. And perhaps if I had one, I would be more mentally equipped for it. But sometimes like things come up and you're just like, oh, fuck. Like, man, it's just problem after problem. But it's like, you got to not think about it like that. But it is problem after problem. It's just constantly little things that come up that you're always having to fix. Like, you know, and sometimes it's something minor, like you rock up to the gym and you're like, oh, that light globe is out. But then it's like, well, you're the one that has to change the light globe.
Exactly.
You know, and like, I mean, that's maybe 10 minutes. You got to go get the ladder or maybe you have to go buy the light globe and that it turns out to be an hour to change a light globe. What if you only had an hour in between two classes and that was when you were going to eat lunch? Or, you know, like, so.
I totally agree.
I think, and that's, I don't even think that's to do with a gym. That's any small business. Yep. And I think all small businesses go through the same thing where one or two people do everything, you know? I mean, yeah, maybe it's a bit different if you're, a big business, corporation. But, you know, if we're talking about, you know, most small businesses, even if you have one or two business partners, you're going to go through the same thing where you'll all do it. Like you have to do everything. Mm-hmm. And then I guess you get to a point where it's like, well, I need to start employing other people to do some of these tasks because the workload's getting too much or because I'm growing. But then you're then walking that line of, you know, you got to spend money to make money because you'll often, when you hire that first employee, you're at least when you're looking at the numbers, you're running at a loss, but you know, it's like, you kind of got to spend money to make money. And
you need to spend that money on the additional employee to grow to the point where you can afford them. Yeah. It's almost a dichotomy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And that is a very tricky spot to be in for a small business where you're at that threshold of growth where you need to take that next step, but it's always a risk. And I think, I mean, we've spoken about this before, and I think, I mean, I know enough about running a small business myself, and, you know, I've spoken to you quite lengthily about it. But I think for a lot of people that want to open a gym, a jiu-jitsu gym, the jiu-jitsu is the easy part.
Yeah, the teaching's the easiest part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I look forward to the day where I can kind of, all I have to do with the business,
all you do is teach,
is rock up and teach 1 or 2 classes a day and go home.
Yeah.
You know,
and someone else does everything else.
There's so much other stuff that goes on with it. I just want to have one little rant though, when you ask about cleaning the mats. Screw those gyms that make the students clean the mats. Shame on you. You suck, right? It's so stupid. I'm so against it. If you don't want to clean the mats at your gym, come train with me because I clean those goddamn mats. I think it's the most dog shit move. Gyms like play that whole like, it's bonding, yeah, team. Everyone helps clean the mats. No, man, it's bullshit. Like, I hate it. I've been to, well, I'm not going to mention, but one particular gym that I spent a bit of time at, and they made the students clean the mats. And
It should be optional, but not like enforced.
it shouldn't even be optional. It should be like, it's ridiculous. Why?
So if I wanted to clean your mats, you would be offended?
No, like, like I used to have a student who always was like, man, can I clean the mats? I find it therapeutic, blah, blah, blah. But these other gyms that they make you clean the mats, it's just like,
Yeah, I've
man,
seen gyms like that.
it's not like,
I've been to a couple of gyms like that.
I'll tell you why. Like, first of all, like even if you wanted to play that whole like, oh, we're a team, one for all for one, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, cleaning the mats is the least bonding thing compared to like rolling or drilling together. Or like there's plenty of bonding that goes on in jiu-jitsu. It's not like at our gym because people don't clean the mats together. There is less bonding in our gym.
Oh, when you're cleaning the mats, we're all having a chin wag. And
that's it as well, right? I'm cleaning the mats and you guys are hanging out.
Yeah.
But the other reason it's just stupid is, I mean, we a while ago, talked about gyms at the end of the day being a business or whatever. And I mean, man, as a student, you're paying me to train at the gym, right? You're not just paying for me to teach. Like that part of that membership includes the facilities and, there to be toilet paper in the
soap
toilet,
in the dispenser,
and clean mats for you to train on, right? Like part of your membership it's not like your membership is a little bit cheaper than it should be because you help me clean the mats. No, right? Like I should be providing you a clean environment. It's not like going to a weights gym and wiping your sweat off a machine. That's different. That's just like, that's just being like
respectful to
the other people that come through it. But I mean, man, you're paying me money. I'm going to provide you with a clean environment for you to train in. You don't have to clean it. You don't have to clean it, right? Yeah, it's different if you like get cut and blood's pissing everywhere. Like, be a dude and help clean up the mess you made, or it's not a trash can. You don't leave all your tape off your fingers lying around, and if a Band-Aid fell off.
That's respect thing.
Yeah, that's just being right.
Respectful, yeah.
But man, like,
don't start,
I hate that shit.
Taking a shit on the mat and spit on them.
Like I get it when students offer to help clean the mats, and I appreciate the offer. But man, you don't need to. Like I provide you with a clean training environment. It's not your job to clean the mats. It's mine. Or if you have a cleaner, clean it. Or if you have an employee who cleans it, right? Like stupid. I hate gyms that make students clean the mats.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the exception. Well, the exception. I've been to 3 different gyms and 2, including yours, 2 out of 3, students clean the mats.
Yep, dickheads.
Take that. All right. So next question is from Nicholas A, and he is from Uruguay. He's our Uruguay listener. So shout out to Uruguay. He asks, do you have any hacks or shortcuts for beginners? Pretty general question, but what do you got?
Yeah, any hacks or shortcuts for newer students? I believe he was talking about, people who were just starting to roll, like they haven't got that much experience under their belts and probably feeling a little bit lost. I've probably mentioned this in previous episodes, I would assume. But the way I always give it to people who are super lost, I try to break it down real simple and give them 5 key positions, right? The 5 core positions of jiu-jitsu you could break down into close guard, half guard, side control, mount, and back control. And each of those positions has a top and bottom. So that's 10 positions. If you learnt one technique for each position, so close guard top, close guard bottom, half guard top, half guard bottom, etc., it's only 10 techniques to remember. At least then when you're in a roll, you're not completely lost, right? And you have an idea of what you want to do or a technique in mind that you want to try do. Doesn't mean you're going to be able to do it, But at least if you had that at your disposal, you shouldn't find yourself somewhere where you're like, I have no idea what to do. Of course, we should all know that jiu-jitsu is incredibly dynamic, and that is a very simple 5 or 10 positions. Even as a black belt,
if they know the counter to your one move, if they can shut it down, then you're like,
yeah,
fuck.
and shit gets all tangled up. Like, I mean, even as a black belt who's been doing it for over a decade, I'll sometimes find myself in a position I'm like, how did I get here and what is going on?
Yeah.
Because shit gets tangled all up, especially when you're in the gi with lapels and sleeves. And sometimes you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So it's a very simplified version, but I think it's a good like building block. Kieren just was like sick of my conversation.
I just muted
my microphone.
Shut up, my turn. Anyway, as I was saying,
I think it's a good building block. But another little sort of shortcut that I would give, and perhaps is maybe more applicable to the gi, but not necessarily, is grips. Okay, and don't underestimate the importance of grips. For sure, this is more relevant. I don't know if I want to say more relevant in the gi. Like grips in no gi are super important.
You've said this to me before a lot.
But yeah, like beginners struggle with understanding the importance of grips, right? And sometimes you see people just like curl up in a ball. Man, if in doubt, grab something, right? Like each of your limbs should be doing something useful at any one time. So if you find yourself
on your back, just kicking around your legs.
or you find yourself like, you know, you're in this position, your left arm is doing absolutely nothing. Like it's not posted on the ground supporting you, or it's not grabbing a collar, or it's not holding the back of their neck or something. If it's literally doing nothing, man, grab something.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
or just start swinging.
Yeah. Yeah.
Start punching.
Start dropping bombs.
Yeah.
You know,
Ground and pound, baby.
So grips are super important as well. And it's something that beginners can struggle with. When I first started jiu-jitsu, I absolutely hated training in the gi because of grips.
Because you're getting stuck, like
Yeah.
you can progress, or
I just hated all the grips that were going on, but I just didn't really understand it. Now I really enjoy training in the gi, and I enjoy the grip battle, and even the grip battle that goes on in no gi. So now I'm a big fan of the grips, but I've got another student, this white belt, and often this white belt kind of is lying on their back just with their arms tucked in. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, that's not going to help you.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're in a position where you're going to get arm barred if you extend your arm or something. Like, I get that as well.
They're
Sometimes
white, they're just like covering up their neck.
Yeah,
like,
but it's not like they're
mounted.
it's not like they're mounted. It's like they've got guard. And I'm like, man, grab something. Like, use your arms.
Yeah.
The reason guard is strong is because it's 4 limbs against 2. Right? Grab something. You know, it's not like you're mounted and you're just crossing your arms up near your neck to not get submitted.
I used to struggle when people did that, or like when I am mounting them or whatever, when they just like bunker down, just tuck their hands in, pull their chin in, and like chin to chest and just like fully clam up. But now, you know, you can just gift wrap them, take their back, and it gives you options within reason, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, a little hack is understanding
Attack the fucker.
The grips, right?
Yeah.
Grab something.
Yeah.
And, you know, with time, you're going to learn what to grab. And, you know, by grabbing something, you're going to grab the wrong thing and you're going to pay the price. But you learn from that, right? You know, you either win or you learn.
Yeah.
Right?
You've seen that meme that's floating around at the moment where it's like a meme of Khabib, and it's like jiu-jitsu people say you either win or you learn. And then Khabib's all sad because he's never lost. And he's like, I want to learn. He's like crying.
That,
Oh, it's so funny.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I saw another one today that was like, I don't know, the meme was just someone's face, you know, with tears in their eyes and saying like, why, or something like that. But the title was when your coach has you in an arm bar, but then they decide to wrist lock you or something like that. The guy's like,
that's BM.
Crying.
That's BM.
What's BM?
Bad manners. That's
Bad
a gaming
manners.
term. I thought you would know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Like in here we go. We're gonna nerd out for a second.
I'm like Beastmaster.
No, whenever I'm playing like Overwatch, which is a first-person shooter game, and I'm like 1v1ing my brother or whatever, or we're fucking around before we get into a game. And if I get him like his health low enough and then just melee him to death, it's like we say BM. That's BM.
Right,
it's like bad manners to be. You know, I could have killed him with a gun, but just melee.
It's like teabagging.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, teabag like a bitch slap. You know,
yeah,
slap you to death. Yeah, BM, bro. So I actually just want to narrow down on Nicholas's first part of the question where he says, do you have any hacks for beginners? I have a hack, and it's actually legit.
Go on.
Write your shit down.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot stress this enough. So at the moment, I just want to, I mentioned a couple of times that I write down notes after class and things like that. At the moment, because I'm working through an instructional, one of Bernardo's, Faria. Is that how you say it?
Faria.
Faria. Yeah, you got to roll that R.
Yeah.
Faria.
Or if you can't, Faria.
Yeah, don't say Faria.
Yeah,
it's
one of the guys at the gym is calling me, Bernardo Faria. And I'm like, dude, you know what a farrier is? He's like, no. I'm like, it's a dude who puts shoes on horses.
Yeah. So Bernardo Faria. I'm working through one of his instructionals at the moment. So in my notebook, I've started to write out all the instructional notes, and I didn't I'm not OCD, but I'm like very particular about, things, particularly note taking. And I don't want to interrupt the instructional notes with notes from classes and then go back to the instructional. So for the last week, I didn't write any notes after class, but we went through some stuff that I'm trying to remember and trying to go through because it's really, really good, and I'm don't have any notes to review. And I've relied on that for so long. And now I'm really frustrated. Fuck. That one back take, that one truck hook back take, I don't have any notes on it.
I remember you asked me about note taking ages ago, and you were already taking notes, but you kind of were, I don't want to say you were lost, but you would ask me oh man, did you take notes? Because, oh God, you could write a novel on one technique. And I remember I brought in some of my old notebooks that are pretty much disintegrated by now, just to give you a look at how I would essentially shorthand my notes. And people for a while were teasing you about taking notes at the end of class. And then I remember at the time I was saying, yeah, you all laugh now, but notebook Kieren over here is going to be kicking all your asses soon. And now you're kicking butt. Right? Yeah. I mean,
it changes everything.
Note taking helps a lot. I used to always take notes, probably up until towards the end of purple belt, because at that stage it was every day was pretty much something new.
Yeah, exactly.
But I still, even now, I don't necessarily take notes, but I'll make little shorthand notes in my phone that I'll often refer back to, and then months will go by and I'll refer back to it and I'll be like, I don't need that anymore, and I'll delete it or something.
You remember it.
Yeah, for me it was just the act of, even when I was taking notes in a notebook, I would almost never ever review them or look at them, but it was just the act of writing it down.
It's just been proven scientifically. It was essentially
studying for me.
It is, yeah. It's been proven scientifically. If you write something by hand, not typing on computer, you'll remember better. And the thing is, I'm at a stage now where this is going to sound really bad, but shit you're teaching, I can actually implement now. Beginner, early days.
I thought you were going to say shit you're teaching.
It's actually good.
I already know.
No. Beginner, right? Early days, I've said this before, you pick a couple things that you can retain and then you focus in on that. Okay, when you teach something, even if it's just basic, I'm talking my first couple months of training, I would do it, but then almost instantly forget it because it's so overwhelming. I don't understand the concepts. So I'm trying to focus too much on the details. Oh shit, if I don't remember where to put my hand, I can't do the technique.
Yeah.
Now, when I get to positions, you may have taught something last week, but I'm oh yeah, that's right. And then I can pull off the knee cut or the whatever pass, and I'm actually able to implement it. And then I may implement it a couple times, then get stuck on something. And I'm oh shit, what do I do if I get stuck? Adam mentioned that, go back to the notes. Yep, there it is, boom, go. But at the moment, I don't have notes on the last week.
I just thought you could have a scene in a movie when, a guy has a girl come over to his house for the first time and walks into his room or his house or something, and it looks like something out of a CSI crime scene murder. And it's like a Jiu Jitsu thing, but instead of it being a murder map or something, it's all these pictures of positions, then the string and the pins and everything.
So good. Funnily enough, Ollie, a purple belt that trains at our gym,
massive mind map.
Yeah, he has I love it. It's a mind map about his game at the moment is no secret, is pressure passing, particularly over unders from Bernardo, and deep half. So it's a mind map from those two positions, how to pretty much no matter where he gets, how to get back to his game, and its connections of this then that. So if they do this, you go to step over here on the tree. If they do that, then you go step down on the tree. Just imagine a web of positions coming
Yeah.
out. He sent it to me, and I'm like, oh my god, this is
You'll
awesome.
probably need a new graphics card to be able to
be able to
open
process
that.
it,
to
yeah.
process that mind map. It's bloody
Yeah,
huge.
yeah,
but
it's so awesome. And eventually, I want to get to that point, and eventually transition and like take my handwritten notes and make them digital. And I know I said that, you know, you learn more by handwriting, but if you do both, you win-win, right?
Win-win, bro.
Put it on my note-taking software so I always have it no matter what. And I have like shorthand and searchable functions and things like that. But yeah, I'm really annoyed that I didn't, you know, because of my stupid OCD with my note-taking that
Why didn't you just like
I didn't think
have
ahead.
2 separate notebooks? Like, why didn't you just have like the instructional notebook?
So that's a good idea. That's a really good idea, and I didn't do that. But I think
there's going to be like, imagine if you had a fire one day at your apartment, and
the one thing I grabbed,
your partner's like, the family photos, and you're like, my notes.
I'm fucking picking up my computer, baby.
Yeah,
that thing's worth so much to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. Like the biggest hack, I cannot stress enough how much it's benefited me to take notes on everything. Just the retention is off the charts.
White belt hacks for white belts.
Yeah. And like also once you start making notes during the class, I'm retaining everything because I know I have to write it down later.
Yeah, that's
right?
Yeah.
And I've gotten to the end, right? I've gotten to the end of a double session when I used to do those, which public announcement, I don't do them anymore.
Yep, I told you not to.
Yeah, and you were right. But when I get to the end of a double session, I'm like, fuck, what did we do in the first class?
Yeah, that's funny, because I used to, you know, if you don't have that habit of taking notes, you know, class is over and it can essentially be over and it's out of your mind and you go home or whatever. But when I used to take notes, I would have to spend that 5 minutes just sitting there and being like, wait, what did we do again?
And that's called active recall. And it's also scientifically proven to improve your retention and your intelligence, effectively, your ability to study something.
Man, like I teach so many classes a day, every day, and I pretty much teach something different every single class.
Every single time. Yep.
Yeah. Like I rarely overlap like teaching the same thing in the same week.
Yeah.
I do sometimes, but I pretty much teach something different every single class. And I've got different episodes where we've spoken about why that is, opposed to having a theme for the week or the month or the day or whatever. But anyway, different discussion. And so I forget sometimes what I taught. And I could turn to you as someone who's there a lot of the time and take notes. I'd be like, wait, Kieren, what did I teach last night again?
What date? I dated also the way I structure
Well, not even that. I mean, just like because of you've gone through the active recall. So let's say,
for sure.
You know, I could probably say to you like, man, what did I teach last night again? And you would probably get to the answer before I could remember. Not because I'm stupid, but because I already taught 3 other classes that day with different techniques. I've already taught 2 other classes this morning, you know, so it's like, I'm trying to remember what I taught in that one class out of the 6 that I've taught.
For the record, you taught a knee cut.
I did. I taught like an advanced knee cut.
Advanced knee cut where, you got to slide that hip down.
You got to smush.
You got to smush in. Yeah. So I'm fucking off. I'm going to keep studying the instructional, but I'm just going to take notes over.
Just get a new book, bro.
Yeah.
Cheap ass. There's trees everywhere.
It's too late now. So the damage has been done.
Yeah, but that's a great hack. I agree with that.
Highly recommend it.
That's better than my answer.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fuck your
Q&A,
answer.
ask a white belt. Coming in hot.
Boom. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for everyone who submitted a question to the show. I know there are some questions we didn't quite get time to go through and address, but if you do have a pending question, we will get to it. We've pretty much gotten to just about every question that has been submitted in order. So if you have a question that you want to submit to Adam as a black belt, or as I mentioned last episode, if you missed that, episode number 39, supplements, if you have a supplement related question, nutrition, you can submit them to me as well.
Yep.
Feel free. And thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please feel free to support the podcast by following us on Instagram and on your streaming platform of choice. On Instagram, we are at @BeyondJujitsu_podcast. And if you want to go that extra mile and get some added goodies and bonuses and more Beyond Jiu-Jitsu content, we do have a Patreon page. So feel free to support us there.
Until next time.
See ya.